Good morning and welcome to the second to last day of my 8-day Mediterranean cruise in December on board the Costa Toscana. Today we are in our last port in Italy, and that is Savona. I have never been here before, so today we're going to be exploring the city. It's about 70 miles away from Monaco and 60 miles from the French border. Costa Cruises is running excursions to Monaco today, but we're going to be staying in Savona and doing a walking tour around the city to see what this place has to offer. It is a chilly morning here in northern Italy. That is the 10th biggest cruise ship in the entire world, and this cruise has been so much fun up until now. Our tour is going to start right in front of this thing here. The name is on the screen right now because I cannot say it, but we have a few hotspots to hit in the city today. So let's begin our tour of Savona, Italy. We are going to be starting at 11 o'clock. This tower was built in the 14th century to defend the harbor. Yesterday we were in La Spezia, Italy, and I'm going to say what I said yesterday. The balconies remind me of Romeo and Juliet. I just picked the first street that I saw. Check this out. Think of all the history that happened down these streets. For some reason, everywhere that I've been in Italy just seems so historic. It's so cool. I love walking these streets. I think this is so much more exciting than doing an excursion to a tourist attraction. It is December 19th today. Christmas time here in Savona. Walking along the main pedestrian street, Via Pia. Look at this. It should be in a fairy tale or something. How cool is that? That is just incredible. Wow. This would be such a good place to play hide and seek. There's so many like alleyways and skinny streets. This is so cool. I like this a lot. I like this. Welcome to Piazza Sisto. It is named after Pope Sixtus, who was born in Savona. So they have a pope that was born here. How cool is that? I'm going to say that Savona feels the most Italian out of all of the places that we've been to. So far we've been to Naples, we've been to Rome, we've been to La Spezia, but this feels the most Italian. It looks the most Italian and it feels the most Italian. And the thing that I like about it the most is people are not bothering you in the streets, selling fake merchandise, begging. Of course, nobody wants to see that stuff, especially when you just want to walk around and explore the city. Let's keep walking and exploring the streets. I think down here we can see a cathedral. Here we go, I'm in. This is massive. Damn Daniel. Wow. Here you can do your confessions. This is very, very impressive. I hope that you can see the details on the ceiling. Very nice. Didn't even see that one. Look at that. I'm always so impressed by big cathedrals like this because they're built hundreds and hundreds of years ago. How do they build this? Very nice. That was really cool. Another thing I really like is it's just in the middle of like a residential area. So you see people living here, and then across the street it's just a massive cathedral that's been there for hundreds and hundreds of years. I wonder how long these places are going to last, because it's so cool seeing something's built in like 1500, but that was 500 years ago. Will it be here in another 500 years? Who knows? I don't know. But we have more to see. Let's go and see a fortress. More of those Romeo and Juliet balconies. By the way, yes, this video is being filmed on December the 19th, 2025, but I assume it's going to be uploaded after Christmas, so Merry Christmas. Please consider being a channel member. Click the join button below this video to see all of the information, because channel members watch the videos before everybody else, plus you'll be supporting me as well. And follow me on Instagram, because I'm posting stuff today, December 19th, about today, but of course you won't see the video until who knows when. So Instagram, and please consider being a channel member. Thank you so much for watching today. It's been a good day so far. We have more to see. I was just thinking, for a country that uses scooters so much, they really need easier roads to ride scooters on, because they look like this and not the best roads to ride scooters and bikes on. It also seems like in Italy, people just park wherever they want. These three cars have literally just stopped right in the middle of the street. Seems to happen in every Italian city that I visited. Can hear the cathedral. 12 o'clock. I can hear like 3 churches or cathedrals. They're everywhere in Italy. And here is our fortress. There it is. Let's get over there. I love the fact that people just live across the street from the fortress. So this is Priamàr Fortress. It was built in 1542, which is almost 500 years ago. And of course, back then it was an extremely important place. And now I see a guy down there walking his dog. History is so funny. And then I can see Costa Toscana out there in the distance. Let's see what we can find. So 500 years ago, very important stuff was going on. And now it's just me walking about with a camera. Just look at the different layers of that wall. I wonder how much of this was actually put here. 1542. Let's see that one. Who put that one there? Who put it there? Incredible. I love this kind of stuff. I love this historic stuff. And then we can see the city of Savona. And then over this side we can see out to sea. Incredible views all around. Amazing views. I love cruising so much. It allows you to come to these places that you never ever thought you would visit. And you come for the day, and if you like it, you can come back in the future. But I do think the way to get the most authentic experience when you visit any country is get out of the major cities, because as I previously mentioned, we're visiting Naples, we've visited Rome, and they don't feel like the country anymore. And you could say the same about Barcelona, Spain. You could say the same about Paris, France, even London, England. Like, they don't really feel like that country anymore, and it's kind of sad. You kind of have to go to these smaller cities to get the real feel of what the country's actually like. It's kind of sad. Just imagine what was going on here 500 years ago. It's pretty impossible to imagine. There is a museum here. Not going to go inside. I think I've seen everything that I want to see from the fortress, but definitely worth visiting if you ever come to Savona. I think the soldiers used to play football down there. That's what I think anyway. This side we can see the full scale of the city. I love that there's no tall skyscrapers. Ooh, so eerie. Saying goodbye to the fortress, there is one thing that I missed earlier, so we're gonna go back into the city and see it. Savona has its own Sistine Chapel, so let's go and check that out. We have a few more things to see, but it is getting colder by the minute. Damn, Daniel. It is right next to that cathedral that we went to earlier, the Sistine Chapel, Savona, but it's only open Saturday and Sunday. Today is Friday, so we cannot go inside today. Would have been interesting to see it. Of course, the main Sistine Chapel is in the Vatican City. One thing I have noticed about Savona is, if you look at this building, it looks like it's brick, right? But it's like painted to look like brick. A lot of buildings are like this. I don't know why. That one's the same. Like it's just a pattern on the painting. Here's the perfect example. This one is painted to look like bricks, but the one next to it is literally just the bricks. I think definitely my favorite port of this entire cruise. Italian dog. This is what I mean. You're walking down the street, you don't expect to see anything, and then you just see that. Again, something else that's just hundreds and hundreds of years old. You just don't get this in America. You can't just walk down the street and see so many old, authentic things. I just took a short walk along the ocean. There is another ship pulling in. It's called Artania. Never heard of that cruise line before, but it's just pulling in next to the Costa Toscana. Look how small it looks. It looks tiny, but this is where I'm currently sitting, right next to the mountains. This is one of the loudest roads I've ever seen in my life. It's so loud, but there's a tunnel over there going through the mountains, so I'm not too sure what is over there, but we're gonna walk along the ocean back to the ship because it is lunchtime. Those mountains are massive. So it's super funny because on the Costa app, it tells us a little bit of information about each port before we get there. And every single picture is super sunny. It's obviously summer and it looks beautiful. But I think today is the coldest day of the cruise so far. It's getting colder every single second. But this is the Italian Riviera. And of course, the south of France is the French Riviera, but it is chilly today. You definitely don't want to come here during the winter. I bet it's beautiful in the summer. There are the mountains and there's the ship. So my cabin is right at the front, deck 9. And I thought this was going to be an industrial port because I saw this stuff. But it literally takes 5 minutes to get from the ship into the city, which is great. These scooters make a horrible noise. It's so bad. Just look at the scale of this thing. How does that thing float? How does it float? I have no idea. It is massive. Back at the cruise terminal now. That was my one day in Savona, Italy. By far my favorite port of this cruise so far. Getting back to the ship at 2:15. Welcome back on board. Gonna go to the cabin quickly and then it is lunchtime. I love coming back to the cabin after walking around in the port for a few hours. It looks like our only option for lunch right now is the buffet, which is okay, but I tried to go to the dining rooms for lunch because they are open for lunch, but the last one just closed. It is 2:30 right now, so let's go to the buffet. One thing I like about the app is it gives you an indication of how busy it is. Right now it says a little crowded, so I guess we'll see what that means. So let's go to the buffet. If you didn't catch the previous videos, there is no atrium on this ship. Instead, we have the Colosseo. I guess it doubles up as the atrium and the theater. So they will have shows here. There's another show here tonight. The interesting thing about Costa is every single port, people will embark and disembark. That means today is a lot of people's first day. So they're walking around the ship going, wow, 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 just like I was during my first day. But they're going to learn very quickly that the theaters here are beautiful. There's 2 of those. They're beautiful, but they are not practical at all. Some of the worst theaters I've ever been to, you have to get to the theater extremely early just to get a decent seat. For example, I'm sitting right now in the Colosseo, but you can't see anything. I'm literally in the front row. You can't see anything from here. They're going to have performers on the floor, but also the stage is down there. The stage is literally below me. These seats are absolutely pointless, and I would say 90% of the seats around the Colosseo are pointless because you can't see anything. So like I said, you have to get to the show an hour before it starts just to get a decent seat. Last night I watched the show from right there. I was right at the front, perfect seating, so that's what you have to do. So these new people are gonna have to learn that very, very quickly. Anyway, the buffet is right here as well on deck 8. Walking through the casino, they told me to go down to the restaurant instead of the buffet. I have no idea why, but we're gonna do that instead. They're telling everyone to go to this restaurant for lunch, even though it's gonna close at 3. It is almost 3, so I don't know if they're gonna rush people out, but they said don't go to the buffet upstairs. Don't know why. Damn, it is a zoo in here. Haven't been in this dining room before, but there's so many people. Damn, Daniel, this is crazy. People everywhere. Nah, there's no way I'm dealing with that. There's way too many people in there. Let's see if I can get in the buffet deck 8, because that is crazy. I think a million more people just embarked today because it's so busy. This is the main buffet, deck 8. There is a lot of seating, but there's a lot of people. I have no idea why they told people to go downstairs, because you can't even move down there. Here we go, much better. Of course I'm gonna get pasta. Of course I'm gonna get too much cake. Of course. It is the craziest I've ever seen the buffet. Got some chicken breast, potatoes, pasta, chocolate cake, ready to eat. That was crazy. Not much going on this time of the afternoon, so back to the cabin just to relax for a few hours. It is a few hours later and I'm ready to go for evening number 6. Here is tonight's outfit. It is now 6:37. The show starts in just over 1 hour. But if you watched the previous videos, I have to go to the Colosseo right now to get a decent seat. Last night I got prime time seats, so I'm gonna try and do that again. So the Colosseo was on deck 6, 7, and 8, and I found that the best seats are on deck 6 on the floor level, but you have to get there very, very, very early because there's like 40, maybe 50 good seats in the house. The rest of them, partial views. Some of them you can see absolutely nothing, so you have to go extremely, extremely early. This is my biggest negative about this ship, the Costa Toscana. Both theaters, the arena and the Colosseo, terrible seating, but we need to go there right now and sit there for 1 hour just to get a decent seat, so let's go. By the way, here is the information about tonight's show. It's called Quantum XXL in Quantec. It says, Josh, the birthday boy, is transported into the futuristic world of video games. Will he complete all the missions successfully? No idea what it's going to be about, but let's go and find out. Like I said earlier, new people embark every day, so they're starting to learn that you have to get to the shows very early, so there's going to be limited seating already. Okay, welcome to the Colosseo. Decks 6, 7, and 8. I was on the other side last night, but I think I'm gonna go this side tonight. Gotta sit here for 1 hour. Quantep. As always, got to run to the buffet. It is 8:20. Buffet's going to close at 8:30. I'll talk about the show after dinner, but first we got to eat. Here we go, here we go. Not too busy, which is great. I'll take the whole tray, please. We've got to get dinner quick. Italian ship, 2 pastas, meatloaf and cake. Yes. Let me sit and relax for a second. I'm in the casino. Casino gets extremely busy every single evening. So in terms of the buffet is going to close at 8:30. That is when you have to get your food because they're going to take it all away. You don't have to finish eating before 8:30. They're not going to kick you out, but you just have to get the food before 8:30. So that is why I get everything, all of my dishes, all of my desserts and drinks, because that is when they stop serving it. It was so delicious. I don't like going to the buffet for dinner, but I've said it in previous video why I do that. I have not been to the dining room once during this cruise, which is a shame because I like going to the dining room, but I haven't been once. There is a reason. Watch the previous videos. Let's talk about that show. It was called Quantec. It was in the Colosseo, and it was the same dance crew that did the Michael Jackson show a few days ago. Such a good crew. They're all incredible dancers, but it was just dancing. There was no singers, there was no acrobats or high flying like all the previous shows. It was just dancers, so it was okay. It was alright. It wasn't my favorite show that I've seen this cruise, and if it was on again, I wouldn't watch it again just because I prefer the whole production, singers, dancers, acrobats, everything that I've seen before, but it was just dancers. They're a good crew, but the show was alright. So, Costa, what were you thinking? What were you thinking designing these theaters? I've never ever seen so much fighting for seats in my life. There is literally, like I said, there is probably 50 seats in the whole theater, good seats that you can actually see the show. The other seats, you can't see anything. They're not bad seats, they're pointless seats because you can't see anything. I swear, the amount of fights and arguments and everything that I've witnessed tonight, it was just ridiculous. Like, Costa, what were you thinking? I had no idea why they designed these theaters. The other theaters the same, the arena, but the Colosseo was just so bad. I'm sure they thought it was a really good idea, Rome and Italy and like circular theater, but it's not practical at all. Another thing that I did notice is so many kids running around, so many. Maybe the school holidays, the Christmas holidays have started in Italy now, so a lot of kids joined today, but there's so many more kids today than there was previously, and they were just running everywhere. It was crazy, but people were reserving seats. People were like laying like clothes down on the chairs, and like I said, there's only 50 good seats, so when people are reserving the good seats and people are getting mad and so many arguments, it's ridiculous. Costa, you need to fix that because, I mean, how do you fix it? It's a brand new ship. The ship started sailing in 2022, so it's a brand new ship. I don't know what they're going to do about that, but they must get so many complaints. It is ridiculous. I don't care. I got a good seat. I got there early, and that's what you have to do, but it was really bad. Extremely busy in the casino right now. Of course, I'm not going to film people playing the games. I did a full ship tour a few days ago, so go back and watch that if you want to see the casino, but
finish the game right now. Se vuoi finire il gioco ora, si chiede terminare ora. Se voi volete terminare. Here we go.
I am back in the cabin now. That is the end of day 6. Thank you so much for watching until the end. The last few hours I've been in the rock club for a little bit. Been watching the casino. People are losing big money. I checked out the Discord for a little bit. There's a lot of people in there, and also Deal or No Deal is happening right now. I hope that you enjoyed this video. There's only one more video in this cruise series. Tomorrow we are in Marseille, France. I'm very excited to go there. I hope that you want to watch one more video. Check out the previous videos if you didn't already, because this was an 8-day cruise and I filmed a video every single day. Marseille tomorrow and then back home. Well, back to Barcelona, then I'm flying home. So one more video coming up. Hit subscribe if you want to go to Marseille with me. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. I hope that you found it a little bit interesting, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.